In the clarity video, one of the major points that we discussed was that any loving relationship has two components, romantic attraction and emotional maturity. So in this segment, we're going to take a look at romantic attraction from a few different angles, including the biophysiological aspects of feeling attracted to someone, making wise cognitive choices about attraction, and the cultural angles of attraction, and finally, how you can harness the power of clarity to honestly understand your romantic attraction to that special someone. I have met people who are physically beautiful and wondered why I wasn't interested. Would you explain why this is? When you're romantically attracted to someone, you may feel like you're being pulled towards them by some invisible force. In fact, romantic attraction is a biophysiological force. So this biophysiological process includes the release of neurotransmitters in our brain. These are the endorphins in our brain that make us feel rewarded, and serotonin, which makes us feel happy, simply by being close to this person that we're attracted to. So romantic attraction can have a powerful effect on us, and yet we cannot consciously make attraction occur or even subside. It just happens naturally. However, we can choose how we want to react to this force and not be fooled by all that strong romantic attraction that we feel when we are starting just to get to know someone. In clarity, the strategy to examine how attracted you feel towards a person involves the scale of romantic attraction. Remember, 1 through 6? 5 and 6 is being strongly attracted. So if you're rating your feelings as a 4 for someone, this feeling is just friends. So this is insufficient romantic attraction. So for a relationship to be really viable, we all need to have an attraction level of either a 5, which is significant romantic attraction, or a 6, which is the highest level of romantic attraction that we can feel for someone in order to have a future for this relationship. So sometimes we start relationships with someone that we feel a friendship affinity for on the scale, which is a 4, and that we're hoping that it's going to flourish over time. However, that type of thinking, it really only sets you up for a potential painful experience. And it's not fair to the other person, especially if they're feeling stronger feelings of attraction to you. So never, ever settle for a 4 in a relationship. Relationships are built on strong romantic attraction. So often when we meet a person, we'll know whether we feel attracted to them after interacting with them for even a short period of time. Yet there are some cases where we might not know whether or not we are actually romantically attracted to them. So on some level, romantic attraction is related to how physically attractive a person can be or appear to us, but not always. Our attraction may be revealed after actually getting to know them in a more profound way that is more related to who they are being and not so much what they look like physically. Culturally, we acknowledge this through phrases like, "Beauty is in the eye of the beholder," or "Love is blind." But my personal favorite is, "There is someone for everyone." The sense of physical attraction, of course, is unique for each one of us. Which factors contribute to our romantic attraction to someone? There are cases where the life circumstances that affect us at any given time that we meet someone actually play a role. So they may distort or hide our feelings of romantic attraction towards someone. For example, in high school, when we tend to be attracted to people mainly on their physical appearance, and we may only notice people who have a certain type of appearance that we describe as our type. We know that this superficial focus on looks can actually generate a short-term attraction and in turn a short-term relationship. In fact, studies show that high school students usually only date for short periods of time and cycle through many dating partners. But of course, these habits actually change over time. After graduating high school, we might bump into someone that we recognize, but who we never really talked to at school. And suddenly, we actually notice that they seem to have blossomed, and both physically and intellectually and emotionally. And this type of newfound interest can actually be exciting and surprising. Over time, we tend to find people who we're attracted to in a more stable fashion, and relationships become more likely to be long-term commitments over short-term flings. Romantic attraction is also dependent on who someone else is being at any given time. When we talk to someone, we might feel inspired by them, excited about their level of passion for what they do and how they're contributing to the world. We find ourselves turned on by the person's traits, such as their optimism, their intelligence, their passion, their courage, their confidence, or their unique worldview. When two people are attracted to one another based on their traits and their way of being, they might make an excellent couple, even though that they seem to have radically different appearances, or even though physically one person may seem out of the other person's league in the eyes of an onlooker. But attraction based on who someone is being is able to break all the rules that our culture and the media feeds us, namely that superficial looks is the most important part of attraction. Another type of attraction can involve an emotional closeness that develops over time. The best example of this involves long-term friendships. Have you ever had a friend who you've known for years, who you've never really thought of in that way? You may have even joked with them about how you love being friends with them, but a relationship with them would like never work out. Then after actually sharing years of laughter and tears together, learning more about them and seeing them grow as a human being, you start to see them in a different way. This type of situation is actually fairly common, and it shows how emotional closeness to someone over time can build our sense of attraction to someone. Remember though, that this type of attraction develops organically over years, and it's not forced. Romantic attraction often involves physical attraction and even sex, but it is never just about sex. When we're younger, sometimes it seems like sex is the only way that we can really express our attraction to someone. During this period, of course, we are experiencing high levels of hormonal activity and amplified feelings of rewards and happiness that are associated with the person that we're attracted to. Researchers call this feeling passionate love. And as we age, we transition to another state of compassionate love, where we are expressing our attraction through more subtle and tender ways, hand-holding, cuddling, exchanging playful looks, and even simply being near and close to this person. And of course, this type of love can still include wild, crazy, fulfilling sex. In our culture, some say that looks aren't everything when it comes to choosing a partner, but romantic attraction is really important. Can you explain more? Oddly enough, our culture sometimes seems to even devalue attraction. One way this occurs is by making attraction appear to be only about looks, which of course is a superficial way of considering it. But we also have cultural expectations that attraction declines over time. Phrases like looks aren't everything or attraction fades but true love lasts is an example, as well as the attitude that some people take, which is that we should simply be in a relationship with a person who treats us well, regardless of attraction. So these messages might make us start to believe that attraction is really not actually a really big part of love. However, romantic attraction is one of the main two components. So that meaning of attraction in a relationship may not be everything, but it is certainly way too important to dismiss. In order to make the most of a relationship, we should really be able to evaluate our feelings on a scale of romantic attraction. So at least a 5 or a 6 on the scale, and those feelings have to be mutual. Any other situation will lead to unfairly using someone, infidelity, and ultimately hurting one another. So making the most of attraction begins when we first meet someone. We must establish that mutual attraction is present and that sets us up to ignite the stage of infatuation. So I encourage you to use the distinct term infatuation to describe the attraction that you're feeling during the initial 6 to 12 months of meeting someone special. And if you continue to feel a strong romantic attraction after the infatuation concludes, then you know to use the term romantic attraction as the relationship progresses. Relationships in our culture have a trial and error approach that actually complicates our lives. However, with clarity, you can use your real knowledge to take care of yourself and your heart. You won't be fooled by any of those rash actions from infatuation, like eloping to Las Vegas and marrying somebody that you've only known for just a month. Instead, you're going to wait and determine whether you are truly romantically attracted to them. This period of waiting, it helps you gain a greater awareness in order to establish whether your feelings are actually reciprocated. This way you can slowly begin to feel more confident about making a greater commitment with this person of interest. As infatuation fades, romantic attraction can still persist in a healthy relationship, and this involves emotional bonds that deepen over time. So you might hear this from couples who say they have fallen in love more over time, which is an example of the stronger emotional bond that is being developed through caring and respect and being thoughtful. Falling deeper in love is really a sign of deepening emotional bonds that continue to fan the flame of romantic attraction. The second element of romantic attraction, emotional maturity, develops directly from this process of attraction that we can begin to have a more accurate read on the emotional maturity only after the infatuation stage ends. The care that we receive from a partner really allows us to progress through a state of emotional maturity. Combined with attraction, this maturity lets us say, I've fallen more in love with my partner as the years have gone by. So emotional maturity requires work to develop. However, an attraction requires ongoing emotional openness and caring in order to flourish. Sadly, some couples let their relationship stagnate. They get complacent and lose that curiosity that they had about their partners once. So this causes emotional caregiving to diminish, which can endanger the feelings of romantic attraction. If this goes on for far too long, then romantic attraction can be really challenging to recover. So relationships are an ongoing process, and you can even think of them as a living thing because they need constant emotional caring, openness, and then the mutual attraction will thrive. So this concept leads us to the next segment, which addresses an extremely important but unacknowledged part of relationships, the component of emotional maturity. Thanks for watching.